What drives a person to the edge of the world? For some, it's a search for solitude, a quiet place to heal a broken heart. For others, it's a test of survival against the raw, untamed power of nature. But what happens when you run to the wilderness to escape your demons, only to find something far more ancient and terrifying waiting for you? This is a story about a man, a forest, and a ritualistic clock that seems to be counting down to something unimaginable. For 294 days, someone, or something, was marking time deep in the heart of the Montana wilderness. Day after day, a new mark was made, a steady, patient rhythm in the middle of nowhere. Then, on day 294, the routine stopped. The forest fell silent again, the strange ritual complete, until a man named Simon stumbled upon the evidence. Now, the counter started again, and this time, it seems to be pointed directly at him. This is the chilling mystery of the Montana tally. Our story begins with Simon. He was a man adrift, reeling from a messy divorce that had hollowed out his life, leaving a void he couldn't seem to fill. He needed to escape, to put distance between himself and the ghosts of his past. So he packed his truck, pointed it west, and drove toward the biggest, most unforgiving expanse he could find, the Lewis and Clark National Forest in Montana. This is a land of giants, towering peaks, dense forests, and vast, empty spaces that can swallow a person whole. It's a place where you can drive for hours and feel like the last person on earth. As Simon navigated the winding logging roads, a sense of triumph began to build within him. With every mile, the city noise faded, replaced by the crunch of gravel under his tires. He was conquering his sadness, trading concrete for wilderness. He finally pulled to a stop at a remote trailhead, the engine's rumble dying into a profound silence. He got out, took a deep breath of the crisp mountain air, and felt a flicker of hope. He was finally alone. But then he saw it. Tucked away just off the trail, almost hidden by a cluster of lodgepole pines, was a tent. It was old, weathered, and clearly abandoned. The triumphant feeling evaporated, replaced by a cold knot of dread. Curiosity, mixed with a growing unease, pulled him closer. The tent was a sorry sight. The canvas was stained dark with mildew, and a foul, earthy smell of decay hung heavy in the air. It had been here for a long, long time. He cautiously unzipped the flap, the sound unnervingly loud in the quiet woods. Inside, the scene was one of slow decay. A moldy sleeping bag, a rusted camp stove, and a scattering of waterlogged supplies. But it was a small, leather-bound notebook lying open on the floor that caught his eye. He reached in and picked it up. The pages were warped and stiff from moisture. The ink bled into faint blue clouds. But the writing on the last few pages was still legible. It was a series of simple, vertical lines. Tallies. He started counting them. 1, 2, 3, 4. A fifth line slashed through them. A group of 5. Then another group of 5. Then another. But as he looked closer, he realized he was wrong. They weren't groups of 5. They were groups of 7. He counted them again, his fingers tracing the strange groupings. There were 42 groups of 7. A total of 294 marks. The last tally was dated just a few weeks prior. An icy chill ran down Simon's spine. This wasn't just a record. It was a countdown. And it had just finished. Simon backed away from the tent, his mind racing. Who would camp out here for 294 days, just to make marks in a book? What were they counting down to? He felt a primal urge to run, to get back in his truck, and drive until the forest was just a memory in his rearview mirror. But he also felt an obsessive need to understand. He took photos of the notebook pages and the campsite before retreating. The image of those strange tallies burned into his mind. Back in the fragile safety of civilization, Simon did something most people wouldn't. He didn't call the police. The encounter felt too strange, too personal. He became consumed by the mystery, convinced that the answers were hidden somewhere, waiting to be found. He spent weeks hunched over his laptop, digging through digitized records from the National Forestry Archives, searching for any mention of abandoned campsites or missing persons in that specific area. It was a needle in a digital haystack. But late one night, bleary-eyed and fueled by coffee, he found it. A single, overlooked report from 1988. It detailed a missing solitary camper whose car was found at the very same trailhead. The official search was inconclusive. The camper never found, presumed to have succumbed to the elements. But attached to the main report was a supplemental note, an inventory of the few belongings recovered from his vehicle. A backpack, a wallet, and a cryptic ledger. Simon's heart hammered against his ribs as he read the final line of the inventory description. The final entry in that ledger? 42 groups of 7 tallies. The realization hit him like a physical blow. This wasn't a one-time event. It wasn't a countdown to something. It was a cycle. The tally wasn't counting days. It was counting victims. Each mark represented the successful completion of a ritual, repeated over and over for decades, preying on unsuspecting individuals who, like Simon, had come to the forest seeking isolation. The 294 days wasn't a countdown. It was a hunting season. And the end of the tally marked the end of another cycle. Simon realized his arrival hadn't started a new count. His discovery of the tent, his presence there, had marked him as the beginning of the next cycle. He wasn't the discoverer. He was subject 43. He slammed the laptop shut, a wave of pure terror washing over him. He scrambled to the window of his small apartment, needing to see the solid, normal world outside. But the world was no longer normal. In the small gravel driveway below, tucked under the driver's side wiper blade of his truck, was a small, smooth piece of bark. And carved into it, meticulously, were 2 fresh, unmistakable lines. The start of a new group of 7. The mystery of the Montana tally remains officially unsolved, and Simon's whereabouts are unknown. Now, we want to hear from you. What do you think the groups of 7 represent? Is this the work of a secluded cult, or is it something deeper, something woven into the fabric of the wilderness itself? Let us know your theories in the comments below. This is a story that deserves to be heard, not lost to the forest silence. Smash that like button to show the algorithm this case needs to be seen, and subscribe right now to join our investigation. You won't want to miss our next deep dive into the darkest corners of the earth. Thanks for watching.